to the call andi. Request everybody to come online andi, video with the video on, so that we can pay attention to what our Atithi will be talking today andi. Request all of you to come online andi as soon as possible. Rao garu,
yeah, మొదలు పెడదామండి. ఫస్ట్ గురువు గారికి నమస్కారాలు చెప్పుకుంటూ let us start it with opening prayers అండి. శ్రీమతే రామానుజాయ నమః. రామాయ రామభద్రాయ రామచంద్రాయ వేదసే రఘునాథాయ నాథాయ సీతాయ పతయే నమః. बोलो श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. पवन सुत हनुमान की जय. Hearty welcome to each and everyone. So today we are very much blessed to be part of this Kalpavruksham event. Due to some technical difficulties, this has been little bit delayed in starting, and giving the opportunity for everyone to join. In the meanwhile, I am taking the humble opportunity with the Guru Garu blessings to introduce Sri Gunashekhar Garu. So Gunashekhar Garu has taken the wonderful opportunity to be part of this Kalpavruksham program. And today the blessed topic is, most of the times we may not get the opportunity to listen about the relationships. So today the wonderful relationship between the Rama and Lakshmana, they both, how they have bonded together, how they have been led as an example, is some of the insights which Gunashekhar Garu is going to take it us. So Gunashekhar Garu is joining us from India, and this program is being watched by throughout the world, and hearty welcome once again for all the people who came on to this call and those who are watching online on the website www.jayshiram.org. And before we hand it over to Gunashekhar Garu, we humbly request each and everyone to come on video, so that it will be an inspiration for the speaker to give the details also by looking at the devotees. Gunashekhar Garu, please go ahead and take the opportunity. And ఇవాళ వచ్చినందుకు చాలా సంతోషం. Kindly start అండి.
నమస్కారం. జై శ్రీరామ్. My humble pranams to all the devotees. Ramabhiramam, Nayanabhiramam, Vachabhiramam, Vadanabhiramam, Sarvabhiramam, Sadabhiramam, Vande, Sada Dasarahim Charamam. Sri Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame, Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. Ramayana and Mahabharata, you all know, they are epics of our national epics of India. Bharata Jatiya Itihasalu. I want to clarify one more doubt, sir. All are Telugu people there and in a different language. So I will speak in English, but I will take the opportunity. Some of the words it is better to spell in Telugu language also. That is Sanskrit, you know.
Yeah, it can be combination of both, and sure.
Okay, sir. So they are sources of our culture. What happened? Hello?
Yeah, వినిపిస్తోందండి. వినిపిస్తుంది.
ఇది నాకు ఇది ఆడియో వీడియో ఉందండి.
ఉందండి, వీడియో కూడా ఉంది.
ఓకే నాకు కనిపించదండి. ఓకే, రైట్. సో దే ఆర్ సోర్సెస్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ కల్చర్ అండ్ ట్రెడిషన్. భారతీయ సంస్కృతి సంప్రదాయాలకు అవి పట్టుగొమ్మలు. ఆల్ ఆఫ్ us know our epics portray highest human values, which are not only applicable for Indians, they are universally acceptable, sarvajaninam, and eternal, sarvakalinam. All the languages of India, both the epics retold by their poets with additions and variations of their own. Ramayana has hundreds of versions in various forms in each language. In Telugu also, 3 or more famous versions were written by the poets in each century. In 20th century also, we have lot of Ramayanas which were written in prose order and also poetical form. The one who is very great scholar and poet and also first Jnanapita awardee, Sri Vishwanatha Satyanarayana, has written a Ramayana by name Ramayana Kalpavruksham. So it is a very wonderfully narrated poem. In that poem, in Avatarika, that is introduction, he wrote one wonderful and remarkable poem which goes like this. Marala idela Ramayanam Barnachu, ఈ ప్రపంచకమెల్ల నెల్లవేళ తినుచున్న ఎన్నమే తినుచున్నదెన్నాళ్ళు తన రుచి బ్రతుకులు తనవిగాన చేయు సంసారమే చేయుచునున్నది తనదైన అనుభూతి తనదిగాన తలచిన రామునే తలచెద నేనును నా భక్తి రచనలు నావిగాన కవి ప్రతిభలో నుండును కావ్యగత శతాంశములయందు 90 అయిన పాళ్ళు ప్రాగ్వి పశ్చిన్మతంబున రసము 1000 రెట్లు గొప్పది నవ కథాధృతిని మించి. So it's a wonderful point. When he started to write Ramayana, he might have get some questions of himself. That is, what is the need of Ramayana again? There are several Ramayanas already very popular in the language. Why should again it should be written? So some of the critics might have also questioned this. So he clarified all the doubts which he had and also the critics. Why should we need Ramayana? We never hesitated to eat food regularly, what we have been eating all those years from the beginning of the birth or till death. We never exhausted to eat. And also, we are also involved in samsara, not samsara in the sense here in Telugu it is limited to the family. So it is not pleasure to be in samsara. It always gives some grief. So why should you marry? Why should you marry and lead this married life? Because there, even the why should we eat again and again? Because each and everybody has his own taste and he has his own hunger. So like that, in samsara also everybody involves because of their own dukkha sagar, even though it is dukkha sagaram, everybody like to marry. The experience, the intense feelings may differ. So again and again that they do the same thing and the generations together we are going to like that. I also had my devotion in different way. My style of writing is different. So I want to portray in a different way this Ramayana. So the poetic intelligence actually attracts the people. So I write this again and again. This is wonderful because some may like Dasharatha, Pitruvakya Paripalaka, and some may like that Sita Rama. Some may are interested in Bhatru Vatsalya Rama, and some are fan Kodanda Rama. Some people they may like that. So there are different variations. So Pitru, Prabhu, Patni, Bhratru, Bhatru, Bhaktru Dharma. There are different variations in Ramayana. Everything portrayed in a beautiful way. In that some may think that it is not portrayed properly. So a new poet, one who has intellect, tries to write each and in every century. Like that, Vishwanatha Satyanarayana also wrote this one. So in that, every aspect, every thing portrayed in an ideal way, Adarsha, unprecedented Apurva, rare and unusual Apurupa, and uncomparable Ananya. So Valmiki asked, it starts like this: Narada, tell me, who among the heroes of the world is the highest in virtue and wisdom? He mentioned the 16 supreme qualities. Narada replied that the only hero is Sri Ramachandra Murthy, who is now the ruler of Ayodhya. In 11 slokas, Narada described him by using 69 adjectives, that is, qualities. Out of these qualities, we are going to discuss here is Bhratru Dharma, the affection and attachment that four brothers in unique. All the brothers were born within a few hours of one another. There was not, therefore, any occasion for making difference among them on account of age. Even they are equal in all aspects. From the beginning, superiority of Rama is placed beyond all doubts. Rama was almost immaculate. Now let us see, our subject is the relationship between Rama and Lakshmana, their attachment or the relationship and affection. Valmiki describes Lakshmana as a second life to Sri Rama. Only he functions outside the Sri Rama's body. There is one poetess in Telugu in 16th century or 15th century, and her name is Malla. In Malla Ramaniti, she wrote Rama in a very simple style. In Sundarakanda, she wrote one poem. In that poem, the Hanuman clarifies Sita's doubts about his messengership from Rama. He described Rama and Lakshmana in one poem. That is very, very beautiful. That is also a good poem. That poem goes like this: Neela Meghachaya Bolu Dehamuvadu, Dhavalabjapatra Netramulavadu, Kambu Sannibhamaina Kantambu Galavadu, Bagaina Yetti Gulpamulavadu, Tinnanai Kanuputtu Dirgha Bahulavadu, Ghanamaina Dundubhisvanamuvadu, Padmarekhalu Galgu Padayugambulavadu, Chakkani Pena Vakshambuvaadu, Kapatamerugani Satya Vakyamulavaadu, Ramani, Ramudu Subhalakshanamulavaadu, Inni Gunamulu Rupimpa Yasaguvaadu, Varusa Saumitri Bangaru Vanyavadu. Here, she describes Rama's beauty and his appearance, and also his qualities, his satya, truthfulness, and also his characters. At the last line, she mentioned that all the qualities mentioned above are equal to their Lakshmana's qualities also. But the only difference between two is he is black in color, but Lakshmana his complexion is golden color. So Rama and Lakshmana both are same in all qualities. So there is no difference between Rama and Lakshmana in Molla's opinion. Let us go through some of the slokas, because we can't explain all the slokas which are mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana about their relationship. Some of the slokas very important. In Balakanda, Valmiki says, Balyat Prabhuti Susnigdho Lakshmano Lakshmi Vardhana Ramasya Lokaramasya Bhratur Jyestasya Nistyashaha Sarva Priyakaraha Tasya Ramasyaha Sarirataha Lakshmano Lakshmi Sampanno Bahih Pranaha Ivaparaha. So, Sarva Priyakaraha, Rama is his appearance itself makes the people happy. Lakshmana always respect and expressed his devotion on his elder brother from his childhood. He always thought about the Rama's safety and neglected his personal needs. Lakshmana is like a second life to Sri Rama. The poet seems to be very fond of this phrase, and he uses it frequently. From the childhood, Sri Rama cannot sleep without Lakshmana, nor would he eat anything sweet unless Lakshmana partook of it too. Nacha tena vina nidram labhate purushottamaha mrushtam annam upaniti asnati na cha tam vina. So without him he can't sleep. He never left Lakshmana even for a minute, for a moment or so. We have many evidences of the unique bond between them here in their public appearance. Yada hi hayamaru mragayam yati raghavaha tadaika pushtatonvati sadhanuhu paripalayan. If ever Sri Rama went out hunting, Lakshmana would at his back with withdrawn bow to protect Rama. Vishwamitra didn't ask Dasharatha for Lakshmana, but Lakshmana was inseparable from Rama, and it was taken for granted that he was to go with Rama. Lakshmana seems hardly to be noticed by the sage, but this simply means that in his eyes, Lakshmana and Rama were one. Even when he talks to them, he only addresses Rama or Raghava. Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartete Uttishtana Rasardula Kartavyam Daivamahitam. Like this, all the slokas goes like this. He addresses always Rama or Raghava, but he never mentioned Lakshmana separately. The sentiment occurs frequently. Lakshmana is like a second life to Rama. Only he functions outside. Even Vishwamitra taught them the great twin mantras, Bala Ati Bala. He addressed Rama only. In Ramayana, in Aranyakanda, Surpanakha, when in describing her adventure with the brothers to Ravana, uses same expression. In fact, Surpanakha's behavior is extraordinary. Though when she was with them, she was not particularly truthful, respectful when she describes the brothers and wife. To her brother Ravana, she is exceedingly truthful. She describes them in language of genuine appreciation, gives them their true character without any deduction. Even Sita, she describes extraordinary charm, though she offered very talking to Sri Rama. Take the place of that deformed woman. About Lakshmana, she says, Ramasya Dakshino Bahuhu. Ramasya Dakshino Bahuhu. Lakshmana is Rama's right arm. In Yuddhakanda, when one of the Ravana's informers, by name Sukha, described Lakshmana to him, he uses the same expression. Ramasya Dakshino Bahuhu Nityam Prano Bahischaraha. Rama's affection towards Lakshmana is, so he is nothing but Rama. He is right arm of Rama. He also described in the same way. Among human relationships, that between the brothers was unique. In Ayodhya Kanda, Sri Rama himself says, Lakshmana, when his crowning as the prince, yet seemed probable. Lakshmane mam mayasartham prasadhi tvam vasundharam dvitiyam me antaratmanam tramiyam Sri Rupasthita. The great occasion of future that has come to me, he says, I am going to share with you. It is not for me exclusively, it's yours as I. For me, you are Dvitiyam Antaratma. Again, Sri Rama says, Saumitre, Vantya Bhogans Tvam Ishtan Rajya Palanicha Jeevitam chahi rajyam chatvadartham abhigakamaye. If I wish these things at any time, it is not so much on my own account as that you may share them with me. In fact, the affection and the bond between those two brothers parallel only by the affection and the bond between the other two brothers, that is Bharata and Shatrughna. In entire Kavya, Valmiki mentioned both the brothers together in hundreds of places. Ramas Saumitrika Saha, Uvacha Saha Lakshmanaha, Ragavas Saha Lakshmanaha. Like that, a number of phrases used, and always he mentioned Rama and Lakshmana together in entire poem. In Iddhakanda, when Rama and Lakshmana both prostrated by the effect of the Nagabana, that means the serpent arrow of the Indrajit, Rama came to himself a little before Lakshmana, his brother, and seeing him look as if he is laid down without life, and expressed his grief in many ways. Kinnu me Sitaya Karyam, Kim Karyam Jivitena va, Sayanam Yodyabdah Pasyami, Bhrataram iti nirjitam. What would it matter to me if my brother was dead and lost to me, even if I got back Sita? So what is the use of getting back Sita if Lakshmana is not there? Rama declared in 3 places in so many words that Sita was not so high in his affection as Lakshmana. Sakya Sita Samanari, Machyeloke Vichinvita, Sa Lakshmana Samo Bhrata, Sachivaha Samparayakaha. A wife quite the equal of Sita may be found if we make a thorough search in the earth. But a brother like Lakshmana, supreme in war, it will be very difficult to find. Parityakshamyaham pranan ravanaya pasyatam yadi panchatvamasanaha sumitra If Lakshmana is really gone, I shall myself take my life, my own life, in the presence of these allies of mine, that is Vanaras. Then another time when Lakshmana had been struck a shrewd blow by Ravana's Shakti, he lay too apparently dead, and then Raghavo Bhrataram Društva Priyam Pranam Brahishcharam Dukkhena Mahata Vishto Dhyana Sokaparayanaha. So Rama expressed his grief in many slokas, such just 1 or 2 we mentioned here. Yadhaiva mam vanam yantam anuyato mahadhyutihi aham api anuyasyami tadhai vainam ramakshayam. Even as Lakshmana followed me into the hardships and terrors of the forest, so will I offer him, follow him in the abode of Yama. And in another sloka, the same opinion repeated, Deshe Deshe Kalatrani, Deshe Deshe cha Bandhavaha, Tam tu Desham na Pasyami, Yatra Bhrata Sahodaraha. This is practically a repetition of the former idea. Wives are easy to get in many parts of the world. Their relations may be seen about everywhere, but I do not know any region of the earth where a brother like Lakshmana can be had. It is found in Sundarakanda when Sita herself, in a passage of rare charm, which describes the character of Lakshmana, says this to Hanuman. Mataha priyataro nityam bhrata ramasya Lakshmanaha. She said, you don't know, Lakshmana is dearer to my husband than I am. So Sita said to Hanuman in Sundarakanda. But at this point, it is worth remembering that Rama was a unique character And therefore it is necessary to remember that according to the poet, these merely human attachments. But his great passion for righteousness, that is dharma, the passion for high honor. There are many occasions in the poem. We will know across the examples for this. In Aranyakanda, once Sita announces the character of his confidential advisor. Sri Rama made a pact that with the rishis to punish the Rakshasa. Why? Then Sita asked him, why do you agree to make his war against them? She says, Bina Vairam cha Raudrata. You don't have any personal grudge towards Rakshasa and no anger also. Why should you kill them? To make the war without righteous cause is one of the things you should avoid, she advised him. Rama said, you have a claim, he says, to be heard in all these matters, and I honor you for this conference of yours. And he adds in striking words, Apyaham jivitam jahyam tvam va site sa lakshmanam natu pratijñam samsruchya brahmanobhyo visheshataha. I may abandon my life, I may abandon you, I may abandon Lakshmana, I may abandon everything, but not my promise once made, and particularly to Brahmins. Now look at Lakshmana. What a contrast. While Rama proclaimed that Dharma was above everything, Lakshmana, when he declared his adoption, said only, to me Rama sums up everything. He is all in all. I do not look behind him and beyond him. My goal is approbation. My goal is his happiness. So Lakshmana was characterized as the very embodiment of the principle of Kainkarya, that is service to Rama. Is Lakshmi is a Kainkarya Lakshmi, they say. He was, what did Sumitra say when Lakshmana set out for the forest with Rama and Sita? Ramam Dasaratham Vidhi, Maam Vidhi Janakatmajam, Ayodhya Matavim Vidhi, Gachatata Yada Sukham. Rama is your father, Sita is your mother, the forest is Ayodhya where you were born. Go now and be happy. This is the meaning of the sloka. This is not a mere wish, it is statement of the fullest hope. Go, so you would attain happiness. That is Sumitra's advice. In Ramacharita Tulsidas described this scene like this. Upadesu yahu jahitata tumhare Ramasiya sukapavahi pitumatu priya parihara parivara purasukha surati jana basaravahi tulasi prabhuhi sikhaideyi ayasu dinhapni asishadayi radhiho vu ati abirala amala siyara ghuvira padanita nitasayi. My son, Sumitra says, because you assist him, that is Rama, that should be happy. They ought to forget the parents, the follower, the facilities which found in the city. Tulsidas says, Sumitra said so to Lakshmana. She allowed him to go to the forest with Sita and Rama. She blessed him that his devotion on their charanas should not be deviated. Witness Sita's testimony about his behavior. Pitruvad vartade Rami, matruvan mam samacharan, Kayamanam tada viro natu mam veda Lakshmanaha. She told Hanuman in Sundarakanda, Rama was his father and I his mother all these years. We may regard this in the high light of Sita's apology for the harsh words that she had used to Lakshmana when she lost her self-control upon hearing the counterfeit, that is Maricha's testimony. We also have from Rama when he expressed his gratitude and love to Lakshmana for the lovely hermitage that he erected at Panchavati. In his joy, he embraces Lakshmana and says, Samsuhrishtaha parishvajya bahubhyam Lakshmanam tada atisnigdham cha gadham cha vachanam cheda bravit. Pritosmite mahat karmatvaya krutamidam prabho pradeyo yannimitam te parishvango maya krutaha bhavajnena krutajnena dharmajnena cha Lakshmanaha tvaya putrena dharmatma na samvruttaha pitamama. We have curious reversal fatherhood here. Says Rama, when Dasharatha died, he really did not leave me alone. He left an image of him in you. I find in you what I should have found in my father. If he had lived, it is a strange statement about a younger brother. He, that is father, is not dead. He is alive because you are here. Meaning by that, the great services performed by our father while we are in hell. That is his affection towards Lakshmana. When Indrajit had fallen Lakshmana, his body drenched with blood, went to Rama, supported by Hanuman and Vibhishana. Having made obeisance, Rama, he respectably, in his respect by his side and in broken accents, because he was suffered with the injuries, told him that dread Indrajit had been slain. Rama was transported with joy and praised Lakshmana for the wonderful deed he had performed. Then Valmiki goes on to describe the display of Rama's affection in all its depth and intensity. There are altogether 10 slokas are there. In those 10 slokas, how he embraced Lakshmana and he appreciated and praised Lakshmana is in detail. Rama smelt his head and pulling the bashful young hero on his lap, hugged him, riddled as he was with wounds, and looked at him with tender feeling. He turned Lakshmana's face this way and that, a very strange thing. But he did this again and again as if he could never have his full of going at it. Smelling his head once more, he passed his hand all over the Lakshmana's body to alleviate the pain and spoke soothing words to him. Now my task is more than half finished, he said to Lakshmana. The battle is all but won. When you struck down Indrajit, you struck down the right arm of the Ravana, who is here. What is hereafter? The way he expressed his joy and affection towards Lakshmana in Sundarakanda, 28th Sarga, contained in a few slokas a handy description of Lakshmana by Sita. In that one of sloka here, Buddhopasevi Lakshmivan Sakto na Bahubhashita, one who waits respectfully on elders, one who is strong and one who does not speak much, na Bahubhashita. Is but strong but silent man. Lakshmana had strong feelings, especially Rama and Sita's interests were concerned. Lakshmana could explode and violently too when Rama's interests were at stake. In Kausalya's apartments, we see him pouring scorn on Rama's dharma. He suspects a well-laid plot between his father and Kaikeyi and declares that he will put the old man in chains or put him to death. There were a conversation in which Lakshmana assumes the offense and says harsh things, and Rama is on the defensive, calms him, begs him to be quiet. Lakshmana says to Rama, I am strong man and I am your protector. I am the guardian of your interests. I cannot see you deprived of what is emphatically yours. Occasionally, Rama speaks of dharma, but that does not appeal to Lakshmana. Your good, your prosperity sums up all the I see. If you give the kingdom, I don't see that you are doing good, that you are doing the right thing. What is there higher than you? Is Lakshmana's reply. If Bharata stands in the way, he and his partisans shall know what it is. Bharatasya adhapaksho vayo vapya hitamichhati sarvanetan vadishyami mudirhi paribhuyate. Mudirhi paribhuyate. Usually, the soft people will be punished. A soft man like you will be continually humiliated. I will finish this Bharata and any man who calls himself his partisans. Guru Rapi, even I will kill all those elders also if they come up between us. Guru Rapya Valittasya Karya Karyam Ajanataha Utpadham Pratispanyasya Karyam Bhavati Shasanam. Let it be your father, let it be your guru. It does not matter. If he does not know what is right and what is wrong, if he is determined from going the wrong way, there is nothing for it but to deprive him of his liberty, nothing for it but punish him. Lakshmana has ventured to point out in a simple character, easy to understand, without contradictions itself, cast in a mold which is very familiar to people of the world. Rama said, be reasonable. To soften him, Rama here says like this, be reasonable. He says, I am only obeying my father's command. To obey our parents, is it a sin? On the other hand, it is a great virtue. And obeying them, I am not merely rendering up literal obedience. My objective is to save our father from ignominy and the penalty that attends it in another world. So, as I already mentioned, Rama's passion for brother. Rama again says, Lakshmana, are you not myself? You are nothing but myself. My very soul in another body, listen to me. You are courageous and strong. Control your anger and grief. On my account, don't allow these evil spirits to possess you. Holding fast to Dharma, let us convert our present disgrace into great joy. So he pacifies like that, Lakshmana. Then, already mentioned, Rama's passion was for Dharma. His greatest love was righteousness, honor, truthfulness. For Lakshmana, Rama is everything. Chief points in Lakshmana's character, Kainkarya, Nishtala Seva Margam, and Nirmoha Bhakti Margam. Kainkarya is, of course, service. Nishtala Seva Margam is same. It is stable without any trouble. He continues doing the seva. Nirmoha Bhakti Margam, devotional path without fascination. He is watchful God, suspicious of visitors, utter devotion to Rama, vigilance at the post of duty, efficiency in work. All are these qualities of Lakshmana. He is is proneness to anger, but quick repentance. Get angry quickly and get gentle quickly too. This is Lakshmana's main character. So he said, I don't, one time he said that a remarkable quality in Lakshmana, transparent nature, well illustrated in two cases. That is, in one case, his anger towards his father and also his stepmother. I don't consider Dasharatha my father. To me, Rama is a brother, he is my protector, he is my relation, and he is my father. Rama takes in my heart the place which I would have given Dasharatha if he behaved properly. One can see at a glance how Lakshmana makes his life one of utter devotion to Rama. And he also, another incident, he also suspects Bharata of hostile design when he comes to Chitrakuta, followed by his army and by all Ayodhya, and Rama has gently reproved him. Rama's fatalism makes little impression on Lakshmana, but he will not take the field without Rama's order. Lakshmana's shyness of woman is another important character. At any rate, he did not feel at ease before woman. Sugriva knows this, so when Lakshmana came to his palace, in a frenzy of anger of convey Rama's displeasure at his supposed failure of duty and to deliver his threat, Sugriva asked Tara to soften him first. Padarshane visuddhatma na sakopam karishyati na hi srishu mahatmanaha pachit kurvanti darunam tvaya santvei rupakrantam prasenne manasam tatah kamalapatraksham drakshami vrindamam saprastalanti madavihvalakshi pralamba kanchi guna hema sutra sam lakshana lakshmana sannidhanam jagama tara namitanga yashtihi. When you have spoken to him in your sweet way, he will no longer be angry, for great men will not do anything cruel to women. So Sugriva says like this to Tara, I will not see him till you have first conquered him by your honeyed words. Lakshmana could not identify any of Sita's jewels cast off at Rishyamukha except the Nupura, as he has never raised his eyes to look at her. Na aham janami keyure, na aham janami kundale, Nupure tu abhijanami nityam pada abhimandana. This is a very famous sloka. So I don't know armlets, I don't know earrings, but I know this Keyura. Rama is a martinet, a strict disciplinarian. Departure from the rules of obedience must be punished. Lakshmana was twice in a great difficulty. When Sita drove him from the Panchavati hermitage to go to Rama's assistance, when Durvasa threatened to curse everyone and everything if not admitted to see Rama, who was then closeted with Kala, that is Yama. So Lakshmana had to choose the lesser of two evils, but not let off. But of course, Rama banished him with great grief. And so these are the main things we have come across in Valmiki Ramayana. There are many slokas there. I think I took, is it exceeding my time? Hello?
గుణశేఖర్ గారు మీరు ప్రిపేర్ చేసుకుంది ఇంకా ఉంది అంటే చెప్పండి. ఇంకా 5 minutes ఉందండి. అంటే మన క్వశ్చన్ అండ్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, బట్ ఇఫ్ యు కెన్ కంప్లీట్.
ఓకే అంటే ఓకే. Actually, I want to narrate something. I want to conclude about this in Telugu now. Paramatmato Ananda Rupa, this is Vedanta way of approaching Rama and Lakshmana's relationship. Paramatmato Ananda Rupa Parasukshmantaso Lakshmana Rupa Prakriti Jivatma Nityam Anusarinche Untundi. So Lakshmana Ramana is a Jivatma Paramatma. So it is always with the Jivatma, Jivuni Vedana antaru. సో జీవాత్మ వేదన శోకం, అశోకం వచ్చి ఆధ్యాత్మికం. సో జీవనోదము రాముడి అవతారం అంటే అనుష్ఠాన అవతారం అంటారు. ఈ అనుష్ఠాన అవతారాన్ని అనుసరించి వెళ్ళడం కృష్ణుడి ఉపదేశ అవతారం అంటారు. కానీ బట్ యద్యద్ ఆచరిత శ్రేష్ఠ తద్దత్ ఏవో ఇతర జన అన్నది ఆయన కూడా ఆచరించి చూపాలని చెప్పిన మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద టైమ్ ఈస్ అడ్వైజర్. రామ ఈస్ అనుష్ఠాన అవతారంగా భావిస్తాము. ఈ జీవునిది శోక స్థితి, ఆల్వేస్ ఇట్ wanders about, it is always in a shoka because it is apart from the Paramatma. So Lakshmana is always with Rama. Lakshman ayati iti Lakshmanaha, Lakshma chinham, nayati పొందడమని తన చిహ్నమే అయినటువంటి జ్ఞానానంద స్వరూపమైన రామ పరమాత్మను నిరంతరం కలిసి ఉండే జీవాత్మకు లక్ష్మణుడు అని పేరు. So this is another aspect of this. This is actually what we concluding the actually Vedanta paramaina artham idi. Ika I want to conclude with Ramanamat paro mantraha na bhuto na bhavishyati. Ramayana mahakavyam sarva vedattha sammatam. Ramachandra gunopetam sarva kalyana siddhidam. Sarva pava prasamanam dushtagraha nivaranam. Om Tat Sat. So I would like to thank Srimati Charita, who stays in Atlanta. She is responsible for the introduction of this organization. And for all these 2 or 3 months, who has contacted me to address, to give a lecture on this subject. And I also thank, I don't know the name of her, and I thank her also, and all the devotees, and the Guru Garu, who is the responsibility for this one, and all the bhaktas of Bhadradri Sri Rama Temple in Atlanta, this organization, especially Acharya, who has permitted to me to speak some of my, it is of course, it is very limited thing. It is not the complimentary one, but of course I prefer this one because this value should be there. I don't know how many days it has been going on. I saw the link from January 2020, 2021.
Last
year.
Last year January or 2019 December lo appudo start ayindandi. Yeah.
So this is I want to mention that if it is in different, because if I don't want to waste my time, so I wrote down all those things. Suppose if it is only speech, then there might be some gaps. So I think it is not satisfactory for me also, because at least 2 to 3 hours it took place to stay in bed. That's why I go fast. What about Isa? I ask any questions, please.
Yeah. గుణశేఖర్ గారు, మీ రీసెర్చ్ ని మా అందరికి ఇంత బాగా చెప్పారండి. మీ టైం తీసుకుని ప్రిపేర్ అయ్యి 1 hour చెప్పడం కూడా చాలా పని ఉంటుంది, విచ్ యూ హ్యావ్ డన్ అండి. అండ్ థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ కమింగ్ అండి. అంటే ఇట్లా అందరికి చెప్పడము అనేది వన్ థింగ్, టైం తీసుకుని అన్ని ప్రిపేర్ అవటం కూడా చాలా పని అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ అండి. ఎవరికైనా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉన్నాయండి గుణశేఖర్ గారికి, మన అతిథికి ఏమన్నా క్వశ్చన్స్, క్లారిఫికేషన్స్ కావాలంటే నౌ ఇట్ ఈస్ ద టైమ్ టు ఆస్క్ అండి. గుణశేఖర్ గారు, ఇవాళ గురువు గారు జాయిన్ అవ్వలేకపోయారండి బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఇంటర్నెట్ ఇష్యూస్. ఇంటర్నెట్ రౌటర్ కూడా రీస్టార్ట్ చేశారు, బట్ సమ్హౌ ఇట్ వాస్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్. అందుకని ఆయన తరపున చెప్తున్నానండి, జాయిన్ అవ్వలేకపోయారు. వల్లి గారు, మీకు క్వశ్చన్ ఉందా? యా, గో హెడ్.
శ్రీరామ్ అండి, శ్రీరామ్ గారు. జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి గుణశేఖర్ గారు. క్వశ్చన్ కాదండి, చాలా బాగా చెప్పారండి, అన్ని కూడా విడమర్చి చాలా బాగా చెప్పారు. చాలా ధన్యవాదాలండి మీకు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
వన్ లాస్ట్ టైం అండి, ఎవరికైనా క్వశ్చన్ ఉందా అండి? రమా తరవర్తి గారు.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. మీరు రాముడికి లక్ష్మణుడికి ఏమీ తేడా లేదు అని మెన్షన్ చేశారు కదండి. మరి రాముడికి అస్సలు కోపం అన్నది లేదు, లక్ష్మణుడికి కోపం ఎక్కువ కదా?
అది కాదు, ఇన్ దట్ యాక్చువల్లీ ద వాల్యూస్ ఇన్ క్యారెక్టర్ అంటే ఇక్కడ అక్కడ మళ్ళీ ఏం చేశారంటే, ఐ వాంట్ టు మెన్షన్ దట్ పాయింట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ వండర్ఫుల్ పాయింట్. ఇన్ ఆల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ రామ అండ్ లక్ష్మణ ఆర్ సేమ్, బట్ ఈజ్ డిఫరెంట్ కలర్. అంటే క్యారెక్టర్ అండ్ రూపం అంతా ఒకటే అనేసి ఆయన ఉద్దేశం. అంటే మనం ఎందుకు చెప్పవచ్చు అంటే ఆ పద్యం డెఫినెట్, అందుకే కాంట్రాస్ట్ చెప్పాను కదా. రామ ఇస్ ఫర్ ధర్మ, బట్ లక్ష్మణ ఇస్ గెట్స్ యాంగ్రీ క్విక్లీ అండ్ ఆల్సో he gets cool also, he gets gentle also immediately. That is his nature. That also I mentioned, but I mentioned in the earlier thing is because of that Molla's poem, I like it. Actually, Rama, there are many contracts are there. Rama is always for dharma. He prefers dharma more than anything else. But Lakshmana is not for dharma. He only likes Rama's, Rama మాత్రమే అతనికి ముఖ్యం, మిగతా ఏది కూడా కాదు. కాబట్టి దశరథుడైనా సరే, తండ్రి అయినా సరే చంపుతానంటాడు, భరతుడినైనా చంపేస్తానంటాడు, అంటే ఎవరిని వదిలిపెట్టినండి. ఇదంతా కూడా రాముడు ముందరే మాట్లాడతాడు, రాముడు పాసిఫై చేస్తాడు. అంటే పాసిఫై చేస్తే వెంటనే అతను రియాక్ట్ అవుతాడు కాబట్టి వెంటనే తగ్గిపోతాడు. అలా తగ్గిపోవడం కూడా ఒక సంస్కార లక్షణంగా మనం భావించాలి. మీరు చెప్పింది కరెక్టే, ఆ ఉద్దేశంతో కాదు అది. దే హ్యావ్ ద మెనీ కాంట్రాస్ట్ ఇన్ దర్ యాటిట్యూడ్.
ఓకే, థాంక్స్ అండి. జై శ్రీరామ్.
ఇంకెవరికి క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమైనా ఉన్నాయండి? క్లోజింగ్ ప్రేయర్స్ చేద్దామండి. వల్లి గారు, కెన్ యూ డూ ద క్లోజింగ్ ప్రేయర్స్ అండి? వల్లి గారు, గో అహెడ్ అండి. వల్లి గారు అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకుని.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. ఏవమేతత్ పురావృత్తం ఆఖ్యానం భద్రమస్తు వః, ప్రవ్యాహరత విశ్రబ్ధం బలం విష్ణోః ప్రవర్ధతాం, లాభస్తేషాం జయస్తేషాం కుతస్తేషాం పరాభవః, ఏషామిందీవరస్యామో హృదయే సుప్రతిష్ఠతః, కాలే వర్షతు పర్జన్యః क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः, कावेरी वर्धतं काले काले वर्षतु वासवः, श्रीरङ्गनाथो जयतु श्रीरङ्गश्रीश्च वर्धताम्, स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्य परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः, गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं, लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु, मङ्गलं कोसलेन्द्राय महनीय गुणाब्धये, चक्रवर्ति तनूजाय सार्वभौमाय मङ्गलम्. मङ्गलाशासनपरैर्मदाचार्य पुरोगमैः सर्वैश्च पूर्वैराचार्यैः सकृतायास्तु मङ्गलम्, यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवा नारायण नमोऽस्तुते, कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि.
జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ వల్లి గారు. గుణశేఖర్ గారు, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ అండి, వచ్చి మాకందరికి మీ రీసెర్చ్, మీ డిస్కోర్స్ మాకందరితో షేర్ చేసినందుకు. జై శ్రీరామ్ అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ అండి. వీఆర్ నౌ ఎండింగ్ ద కాల్ అండి. థ్యాంక్ యూ అండి. జై శ్రీరామ్. చెప్పండి గుణశేఖర్ గారు, ఏదన్నా చెప్తున్నారా అండి?